Okay.
Hello
All
and
right.
welcome to something a little bit different today. We've got a little bit of a podcast. Thank you to Blizzard for nuking our replay codes. I wish that there was something in there that they could actually just update the game without destroying it, but oh well. Instead, I am joined here by one of our two head producers, sorry, Luau, and our staff lead Reclaimer. How are you guys doing?
Hello,
I'm doing
hello.
great.
Shall
Well,
I'm doing
that's
great as
what I
well.
gonna say at the same time. Go on the
Mm.
wild, go on the wild. You do your intro.
Yeah, I'm doing fine, thank you. For the people that don't know, as Avalanche said themselves, I am one of the two head producers. So there's another one called Friday who isn't available today. But yeah, that's me. I'm doing fine. How about you, Reclaimer?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Happy Halloween, everyone, to people who are going out later tonight or staying in. Change the background for the occasion, but yeah, I'm doing great. Going up to
Mhm.
week 3 of USS, so it's been good so far. We've seen some really good games, and yeah, we're chilling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to go over a few of the behind the scenes topics later on, but just for now, we're going to get into what has actually happened in our tournament so far. So, a couple of weeks in, and I believe we have 3 teams that are undefeated at the moment. It's not that much of a surprise who those 3 teams are. We've got Strathers, we've got Southampton, and we've got Oxford. So, the 2 teams that we saw in our initial show match that we said, these guys are very much ones to look out for, have proven it so far. And then Southampton's up there as well. We knew that they could be a very good package coming into this year just with how much they have at the moment. But um, no real shocks to start off with those 3. But has anything come out as a shock to you guys to start off with? I'll go to you, Reclaimer, first.
Yeah, I mean, the weirdest part is Strathers forfeiting last week. I did hear something about people drinking, which is
Oh
a little bit funny.
dear.
But they are still technically undefeated. They just didn't play the fixtures, so yeah, and they sit right at the top of Div 2 at the minute, which I think if they play the next 2 weeks, they'll probably get back into Div 1. But obviously, missing out on them 2 games will hinder the seeding a little bit. Southampton, as we know, have got a very strong team this year, and they've got 3 very strong teams this year. But their first team in particular, I think people have pegged as one of the potential champions, which is understandable. I've seen them play; they look pretty good. I think they got a good win in NSC last night over Oxford, if I remember correctly. I think that was 2-1. So that's a very big result to get. It's a big statement, and I think this year is one of the most open I've ever seen UK unit Overwatch. It is crazy. I like everyone's beating everyone. Um, I think there are still like your favorite teams. I think the 3 that you mentioned, where it's Strathers, Southampton, and Oxford, are all looking fantastic. But I think there's some outsiders as well that do have a chance of potentially winning, which is Kiel Newell is not a job. They're looking pretty good. Evil Drunkler, as we saw, who looked very good on the stream. Azo not dying over 2 maps, insane.
It's nuts.
ICL, they're always around there. They're always looking good. Abate are looking very good as well. So there's a lot of teams that I think have potential to have very good runs. So I'm very excited. I'm also very happy with how things have gone, because I mean in the past we've usually seen like these 2-team tournaments. It's all been Warwick Oxford, Warwick Portsmouth, but now we've got like more. We look at like maybe 5, 6 teams that are, all of them could win it in my opinion. So I think it's been great, and I think as well if you look a little bit further down the divisions, we've seen a lot of teams that are like, I don't know, you've seen a lot of units like second teams, third teams that are all looking pretty decent as well in their divisions. But we'll see them divisions shape up after the next 2 weeks of fixtures. But I'm very excited to see how they all get on as well.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to see, especially from a caster's point of view. You want it to be close. You want to be able to go, oh, these 2 teams both have a chance of winning. You don't want to watch a game that's like, oh, we know this is going to be a 3-0, which would be a little bit rough. But these the top division is looking very strong, and like you said, sort of first to eighth, and that's not even including Stratas who missed last week, is incredibly strong. Which isn't something that's been able to be said about uni esports for a little while. Um, and seeing these teams sort of battling against each other, the best thing for it is that with all of these teams being strong, it means that they're just going to play against each other and get stronger over the course of time. Because where you had sort of these two team tournaments, you'd maybe face them once in a tournament and you'd have the chance to go up against a team that's stronger and have them be a little bit better. And then you'd learn from that game, but you'd have other teams that you just sort of whitewashed, and those games are like, yeah, it gives you some confidence, but you don't really learn much from it. So it's a lot better to see these teams going up against teams that it looks like they're around about the same level as, and each week they're going to play against each other. Each week they're going to make things better. Luau, has there been any shocks from your side?
For me personally, it's been mainly Warwick actually. So obviously, like, the last USS Grand Finals that I did, we noticed that Oxford and Warwick were like, they went 4-3, and it was like probably the most competitive university esports match that's probably ever going to happen. Like the two best teams in the best possible sites that they are in. Um, and what shocked me honestly recently was just seeing Warwick get like, you know, not do as good as expected, I'd say. And they're all good players, and I've got nothing against the players individually, and neither is a team either, I mean. But I'm just surprised to see them be more vulnerable, I think.
Yeah, I think especially as you've seen a team that's had such a high standing
Mm,
um come through and dominate for so long, and then you
yeah.
suddenly see that maybe they don't quite have the intake that they would have wanted to keep up with the high level that they've always had, is
Mm,
a little bit different. I still think they're a strong team. Not going to take it away from them at all. And when you've got the players that they've got that they've been able to carry over, you've always got Andreas on that team. That's scary. Even if you've
mm,
banned the Doomfist on one map, you still have two maps that you can that you sort of have to deal with it for. And if anyone's going to pull anything out of nowhere, it's Warwick. They can
mm,
come back and play really well. But it is strange seeing them not number one where they have been for the past few years. But I guess that just shows the amount of talent that they were able to hold through in the previous years to be able to show that level of domination. And
for
it
sure.
is nice just to see them not give way, but see more teams coming through and being able to beat them, even if it's potentially not quite as strong a lineup as we've seen for the past little
Yeah.
while. But
I think another thing, if you don't mind me saying,
yeah, of
Avalanche,
course.
is this isn't really like a shocking thing, I think, but I haven't seen, because I don't play University myself, and so I've never seen um Evil Jonker's new tank, I think it is, ASO play, until the replay stream that we did recently. Not replay stream. I think it was a live game. Regardless though, um when watching that guy play, I haven't seen a tank player like, dominate a lobby so much. Like I was like helping to do the production for that game, and it was genuinely shocking seeing a tank player not even die a single time over two entire maps. Like, how do you get away with that?
Yeah,
So yeah. Mm,
that is genuinely mental, and especially
mm,
when you're in a 5v5 meta. We had the 6v6 a long time ago, back when it was Overwatch 1, but being in
mm,
Overwatch 2, the tank is so much easier to counter, to where you usually see, like with Oxford, you have your star players, you have your hit scans, and they're the ones that will take over the game. But it's refreshing and actually terrifying, to be honest, to see and hear a guy on tank go two entire maps without.
He's a raid boss tank. I've just seen there
Yeah,
from my view.
yeah.
Very true. Very true. I have
mm,
him as like a top 3 tanking USS, potentially number 1. He's very, very good. I think for me personally, for him to get that number 1 spot, if he's consistent and he gets them to top 4, then I'll probably say yeah, he's the best tank in USS. He's very, very talented. He's also a great guy as well. I've had the pleasure of meeting him in person a couple of months ago. But yeah, I've always really liked that
Just
format.
the
That
banner
is
pop up, yeah.
controversial. That is
Very
controversial.
controversial.
That is very controversial.
As a DPS man myself, I very much enjoy 5v5 actually, but yes, things are easier to kill for me as a DPS player. But regardless, actually no, they're not. But regardless, so that's a different point. Yeah. There
Well,
was something else I wanted to bring up as well. Oh right, actually, Rakayan brought it up as well. But yeah, so Maddie just said in chat that he's a raid boss tank, and I want to just quickly shout out as well, Maddie, for doing like a lot of the admin work going on.
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. And there's actually something else I want to talk about regarding Maddie when we get to the future of USS later on. That's a spoiler for now, so we talk about that later on.
Yeah. Well, just before we go to our next topic, I know it's very early on, but have you seen any team that you think is a standout as going through and winning the title, or do you think it's just too wide open at the moment? Go to you, Reclaimer, first.
My favorite is still Strathers. I think their team, the quality that they have in that team, the chemistry that they have, like it's not they're not new to each other. Like they all know one another. And Spectron is also pulling his weight as well on the tray. So I've got to say, like he's proved everyone wrong, and like credit to him because he's been great. Like I saw him in that show match. He was killing everyone. Strath is also my favorite, but they're not like my dead set favorite. I think in previous years you just go, yeah, it's Warwick. But I think this year I'm like Strathers, and then there's kind of like a ... question mark after that kind of thing because, like I said, like Oxford or Oxford, like they've got the quality players are too good for it just to be easy for Strathers. It's like there's just so much quality in the top teams, and there's some teams that kind of like Cinderella runs as well. Like I've seen Sheffield take some good games. I've seen Sussex beat some good teams. Aberdeen are always up there. It's like there's still so many teams that you can't write out. And I think for a lot of these teams, even if they don't win the tournament, I think getting like a top 4 or a top 8 is still magnificent. I think even getting into Div 1's like very hard this year as well. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of good teams that are going to miss out on Division 1. So it's interesting to see how it all shape up. I think with the other division, it's hard for me to kind of see where they're going to go at the minute, just because of the nature of the Swiss format. But I'll be keeping my eye on them lot as well. Yeah, I think see how it goes, but I think this next week's going to be very pivotal to the tournament.
Yeah, it is nice to see it so wide open, and we're no strangers to fairy tale runs here. Of course, our first Summer Splash, we had ICL making a miracle lower bracket run to make it to the finals and face off against Warwick there. But yeah, Luau, is there any team that sort of stands out for you, or is it sort of the same?
Sort of the same, but I also want to give a quick shout out to the. Let me just quickly count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8, no, sorry, 7. I think 7 Warwick teams. There's also a team that we streamed about a week ago, whose name is so long that we had to literally cut it off the stream package. So
Yeah.
shout out to those two.
Ziggy loves goal, isn't it? Ziggy loves goal from Lego Ninjago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to drop off the from Lego Ninjago thing because even though the text box is resize, the name was so long that the text was becoming illegible. So I had to like cut it off to make it still readable on stream. So shout out that team as well. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm echoing mainly what Reclaimer said. I will say that I am biased towards the higher end teams. That doesn't mean that I don't want to see the lower end teams, but I do like seeing a lot of quality Overwatch gameplay, and it's fun to see like the very very best teams scrapping it out. So yeah, I'm excited to see like Oxford, Stratters, Southampton, that kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, well, to follow on from that, we're gonna have a look at a little bit of behind the scenes of USS and go into what makes the tournament tick, which It's been quite interesting this year, as it's my first time seeing from the inside a sort of organization actually level up, because we've got a fair few new people in. And just initially to talk about the recruitment process, I'll go to you again first, Reclaimer. Just like sort of how has that been to go from a sort of little summer tournament to going to a full-fledged tournament with the Winter Split?
Yeah, so I talked a little bit about this on Newball. I don't think I went into like great detail, but pretty much the hand that I got dealt was we were trying to get the summer splash back then. We were trying to get that started back up in the summer, and they had this great production team the year before. I think there's some people from like NTU. There's like your usual cast. I know you was part of that team as well, Avalanche. And I remember messaging the producer who did it last year, which was What Noodles, and unfortunately he was too busy. He gave me some recommendations on some people, and some of them were like observers. Wasn't really like a producer out of them lot. So I then asked Westy, who is the GOAT, by the way. Love Westy. If you watch this, Westy, which you probably not, but if you are, great guy. Yeah, so I asked Westy, and then he recommended me Luau. Remember having a good talk with Luau. I was like, yeah, this is what we're doing. This is what we're trying to do. And it just kind of went from a little bit like, I don't want to say bare bones, but you kind of saw the evolution of the stream throughout the entire summer. How it started off as, I don't know, it was like basically it got a little bit more complex, and by the end of it, we had a very good quality stream, and a lot of that was to do with just how we taking people on. I remember having this big spreadsheet of like people I wanted to like contact. I got the usual casters in, and then I don't know. We did have observers who did help us out from time to time, but I remember I was in a lot of the observers like an emergency thing, and now we do that a lot, so it's a good opportunity. So yeah, like the summer was great. We had a lot of guest casters as well. That was due to dodgy availability. You always get that in the summer. It's something that you can't really avoid. Luckily, we've not had them issues so far. This winter, we've always had like pretty good availability, and getting onto the winter, so. We was like, obviously went through this big rebrand. It's like, right, well, we want to become like a full-time org now. We're not this student community tournament, but like we want to be an org. So production's a big thing of that. We did, I mean, obviously we've had a very good summer. We've got a bit more notability. We're very like known in the uni Overwatch scene. So I spoke with Luau and Nano, etc. And we're like, yeah, let's get a team together. We put out the recruitment stuff. We get like the forms out. We get them on the Twitter, and yeah, we get a lot of applications. And I think this year we've built a very good team. We have the old faces that people remember, and then we've got a load of new casters that you've already seen. I think we've had who is it? We've had Ollie on, who's been great. We had Lightning on the other day, who was amazing, and we've got some very cool observers as well. So, and as well, the person producing this, Zook Foodle, is we've got new producers as well. So it's a very good team. I'm very excited to see what we can like carry on doing. I think even being able to do a stream like this is great. And yeah, I'm gonna hand it over to Laval, because I'm assuming Laval's got a lot to say about this as well. But that's what it is from me.
Yeah, probably less than you think I do actually, because I'm kind of echoing the same thing mainly. I will take this from more of a like production standpoint rather than like a management standpoint. But this is like the first time that we've like made a package pretty much entirely from the ground up. With the one in summer, we could use the last year's assets, and so it wasn't like that much different from last year's USS. Whereas with this one, we had like different designs for everything, and we had different people involved. We got different casters, we got different observers, we got actually a very different admin team. Um, and I feel like pretty happy about making things like that for a start, and then also as well training people to use them. I think I've personally onboarded 1 or 2 producers this tournament and like 3 or 4 observers, I think. and it's the first time that I've had to onboard producers because I've never had to like give people my packages before, and yeah, all things told, I'm proud of everybody, like the admins, the observers, the casters, and also the producers that are helping out. For example, like Zook himself right now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how different that is because obviously for me as well, I've gone from um, USS One was one of my first sort of bigger tournaments, and going through and seeing it grow has been quite nice to where I'm now in a more senior role in terms of our casters and sort of helping bring on new guys and seeing them develop. It's been
Hmm.
really nice. But for you, going from sort of just being a producer to being sort of leading the production team along with Friday and bringing in more people and onboarding them, sort of got to be a little bit of a change there, right?
Yeah, it is definitely a bit of a change for sure because one of the issues that I think almost every producer has is that you're either good at production or you're good at explaining production, and it's very, very rare that you get people that are good at both. And I am not good at both. I'm good at I'm like, fairly okay at both of them, but I'm not good at both of them, right? And having to like train my I want to say teaching, but it isn't really teaching, but you know what I mean? Like I want to having to train my teaching skills and try and communicate things to people in ways that make sense to people that don't have that same experience. Like for example, there's I think there's 4 producers in this tournament currently. It's me, Friday, the guy who's producing it right now, Zugfudel, and there's also what's his name? Geolites. Yeah,
Oh,
Geolites, right. Um and all 4 of us have different levels of experience. So Friday's got the most like LAN experience. I've got the most like stereotypical like traditional production experience. And then we've got Zugfudel and Geolite, who, as far as I'm aware, don't have that much production experience. And so having to like, take concepts that Friday and I get and then try and like, reproduce them consistently. It's been like a challenge for sure, but it's been working out fine. So I'm happy.
yeah, it's been really nice for me as well to see guys that are coming through. Maybe it's their like not their first time casting, but they've got some
Mm,
new experience to it. And being able to just sit in, especially either between maps or just before we get started, and make sure like you have everything sorted for going into it and knowing the roles that the two of you are going to play. Because obviously, being a color caster and a play-by-play caster is a little bit different. So, me going over the summer, and I will credit a lot to Egda and Spectron on this because when I first started on USS, I was the one that didn't have much experience, and I was going through and filling in because they were such an experienced team of working together. If either one of them wasn't on and I was in, I was filling in for the role that they were doing. But it helped a lot that both of them knew what either role was and they sort of went through with me, this is what we're going to be doing. This is what we usually have. And to be able to go through it like that with them instead of it just being you're thrown in at the deep end, you're doing this, and then bam, everything's live and you have no idea what's going on, but we're here and you're on broadcast and
mm,
everyone's going to see it. It's sort of it's nice to be a little bit settled and a little bit calmer and know what's going on. And my ability to do that with those two has definitely helped me now with bringing more people to either do play by play or color because I know both of those roles now from them. I'm
mm.
able to sort of explain what goes on the other role that I'm not doing on the day and make sure that the person that I'm on with knows what they're going to be doing and what's going to be sorted. And it's been so nice as well to have a production team that is so well drilled. So I will give you credit for that, Luau, because even when you haven't been producing, you've been making sure that everyone is up to scratch and knows what's going on. So just having a stable team behind you to where you can actually go, yeah, this is what we expect. if something does go wrong, I trust these guys to handle it, and it's not on you if something goes wrong. It's not on the casters if something goes wrong, but being able to work through it and know that you guys are on the back end fixing it, and I trust you guys with that, has sort of been really nice for me, especially having worked with you guys all the way over the summer.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's something that I've had to work on for sure because I mean, I was still bad at it in summer's USS, and I started doing production for CGL a few months ago, and one of the producers that I work with is a very very nice lady called Echo, and she has been training me in like dealing with stress, and I think one of the biggest, like, enemies of any producer, like, it can be experience, it can be inexperience, but um, most producers get stressed very, very, very easily because you know you're live and you know that the cast is depending on your job. Like, if you have a bad setup or bad internet or a bad PC, or you make a mistake on your side, it affects everybody, the viewers, the casters, the observers, everybody, right? Um, and so it's kind of hard handling that stress, but I think Echo's helped me a lot with that, and I'm glad that I've been able to help other people get better at handling stress as well. On that note, though, I do want to return the prize back to you, Avalanche, because um, Reclaim brought this up as well when we did the week one stream. But we already noticed as well that even though you were already a really, really good caster by the end of last USS, um, we noticed that even in that gap, that like 1 to 2 month gap between now and the last USS, you've improved even more. And pretty much every single stream, Reclaimer has been glazing you in my DMs, and it's been like very, very nice to see. So,
Thank you guys. It has been really nice to sort of grow with the tournament, from being there for its very first baby steps, after, of course, our initial foundings of, oh, Newell isn't running something over the summer.
mm,
So like a few guys have come together and they put in something of, oh, we want to do something over the summer, like let us know if you're interested and we'll be bringing people on. From seeing that go to what it is now, and we're actually hosting a winter split, and we're sort of looking at going whole new places, which we'll get to later. But seeing it evolve from the inside has been so nice. And yeah, last thing I want to say before we go to what's next is Reclaimer, you have had, you said over the summer you were doing a lot of observing, and you're still doing that with us now, but you've
hmm
also transitioned into being a bit more of an admin role, and sort of the head of the admins, making sure that everything is planned and ready to go on the weekends that we're streaming. So how has that differed, instead of just being, oh, we're gonna go in, we're gonna do this to
hmm
win our full-fledged tournament? We've got a lot of teams playing, and we've decided to go through and what we've been doing for it, because obviously you've been at the head of the table, one of the heads of the table of making those decisions. So how's that been different for you?
Yeah, I mean, throughout the summer, I kind of sold my soul. I can't lie. I was doing a lot of work. I was in a lot of work throughout the summer, but I loved every minute of it. Like I was getting involved. I was in a lot of stuff. But yeah, I was head admin then, and then after the summer, we did the big rebrand. We got loads of people in, and the tournament admin team this year, magnificent. Like the Winter Split, magnificent. Um, so I don't know. I'm kind of like a jack of all trades at the minute. I'm kind of doing a little bit of everything. But I think last time was a lot more focus on the. I mean, I can't say I was focused on one thing more than the other because I was doing, I was in pretty much a bit of everything. But yeah, what I'm mainly doing with prod this year is obviously I'm always down to observe, can cast if you need me to. But we've got a lot of casts this year, so I don't think I'll be needed in that regard. But um, yeah, what I'm mainly doing with prod this year is getting the matches. So the unfortunate thing with Swiss is we don't know the matches until about like 15 minutes before the round starts. So what my job is to look at the matches that get generated before they get released, very quickly find which one looks the most like competitive, like which one will look good in the stream. And obviously we still do have that undercard idea where it's lower elo game to well I want to say like a low division game rather than lower elo, like low division game to a high division game makes a lot more sense. So there are a few factors with that. It's like, I think on the Sunday we had two. I don't want to say like super. Well, the second game was definitely very dominant. Is very dominant to her, but the first game was competitive, I think. So and the week before that, we obviously had that Mandarin Chester ICL game, which was 2-1, went right down to the wire. So I can't complain with that. But yeah, I'm just trying to guess as best as I can which game will be the best to show on stream, and then very quickly getting all the information from the players. It's like, okay, give me your roster, give me your like preferred heroes, so we can get that all on the stream. Give me like which player you'd prefer to get interviewed. And then I'm getting the replay codes as well. But I think getting the replay codes is a tad bit easier because I can see how long each game was through the score reporting. I can see how long each game was. I can see if it was a 2-1, like how close each map was. So that helps a lot more. But like on the dates, it's a little bit trickier. But yeah, I guess I'm kind of like the messenger, so to say, between the tournament admins and the prod team. But on top of that, I'm doing a lot of like general org stuff as well. Like we'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah, that's probably the main difference this year. I say this split. It's still the same year, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, the split is, it's a lot more general org stuff going on than it is with the tournament admin. I'm not head admin in the tournament anymore. That's that responsibility has gone down to Sam. So yeah, been very good. I enjoy the role that I'm doing. I think I was lobby admin last week as well. So, I enjoy what I'm doing. It's great times, and yeah, that's all I got to say really.
Well, to look forward, and maybe we'll get onto what you've been doing behind the scenes for the org later, but just at least for the tournament, for our Overwatch tournament, sort of what are we looking for going forward? How are we evolving, and what's next for us, Reclaimer?
Yeah. So, what's next for the tournament? I mean, in terms of like the next few weeks, it's pretty straightforward. We've done all the dates. We've done we had a big talking tournament. So obviously we've got Stockholm coming up, which we wanted to avoid, and then I think there's one day where NSE rescheduled to a Sunday, and they got there first. So there's nothing we can do about that. So we've like we've made the changes to accommodate all that. Yeah, so we've got 2 weeks of Swiss left for this, for the USS Winter Split. Then after that, we go into the playoffs, which I'm very, very excited for because we've made, like I said, like some good changes with this, I think. So we've got 6 divisions. So there's literally divisions all the way throughout the tournament. So there's teams that usually like you'd never think would get in the spotlight, but are going to get in the spotlight, which to me is really cool. And there's a best of 7 in every division as well, and that is something that I don't think has been done in Unity Overwatch before. Because typically, what happens is your best division, which is usually just called Division 1, is a best of 7, and then every other division is a best of 5. But we've gone, yeah, like we want a best of 7. So yeah, every team will get the chance to play the best of 7. I will say that after the Winter Split, we're going to do a bit of a review as to what's worked, what hasn't worked, what changes can we make, get some feedback as well, because we love feedback. We love like giving the community try our best to give them what they want. I think one of the big talking points has been the hero bans. That's a new thing this year with the best of 3. And I've mainly heard positive feedback from it. I've not heard anything too negative about it as of now, unless people are going to bombard me in the Twitch chat. It's a very bad idea, but we'll see. But mostly from what I've heard, is it's been like well received. It's made it more fun. It's added like another layer of strategy to it. Where do I watch games from last week? Okay. Unfortunately, the VOD from last week is not around anymore. It got
That is my fault. Sorry,
archived.
team.
It's a
My
very bad
fault.
idea. Wow. Okay,
Mm.
Laura. Okay, Laura. It's a very bad idea. Yeah. Unfortunately, the VOD is archived for the time being because the it's something to do with like the music. It's you can't hear any audio on the stream apart from some like Twitch generic music. But
Unless you
we'll
want
fix
some
that.
lo-fi Overwatch to study/relax to.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a big
Mm.
shame that, but can't really do anything about it. Luckily, some people caught it live. We got the interview live, etc. So it was at least good to get all that. But yeah,
We're
we do
working
have
on
the
that
bodies.
as
It's just
well, right? We're working
yeah,
on
yeah.
getting. I believe we're looking at getting sort of Overwatch, a YouTube channel set up so that we can have all of our VODs in the same place because Twitch only keeps them around for a certain amount of time. But that would be cool for people to go, and especially if you guys know that you were on stream and you want to sort of have a look back at it and see um, how like the comments were from us and from anyone else, and just go over your own gameplay as well is really positive. I know like people have replay codes, but in certain situations where Blizzard decides to nuke them, you still have
Oh, tell me
if
about
you're
it.
on stream you still have that to be able to see how your game was, which would be quite cool. But yeah, we'll be working on that to make sure that we've got that in the future for you guys. But yeah, we're pulling out all the stops for playoffs, and I think that's really cool. I love how we've been
Yeah.
doing the undercard at the moment for streams to get people that maybe wouldn't be on stream quite so often, and get them a spotlight, especially with where we're doing the replay codes when we can. And that's 3 games a week from the lower divisions that I've not seen that really anywhere else, especially in terms of streaming, because a lot of the uni tournaments that I've seen before have just been, we're going to stream the playoffs. We're not going to do much before that. And then you only sort of really see top 16, top 8 teams. And some of them even get caught through the cracks. If they have a rough time and they weren't on stream for their first game, and then their second game they bow out and they weren't on stream for their lower bracket game either. So it's nice to see us sort of making sure to try and get everyone on stream where we can, and it's been really refreshing seeing the sort of teams that are competing to get into the level of the higher tiers that we've got your Oxfords, everyone like that, and we know roughly what our top 16 we think is going to look like. But it's really cool to see these teams that are challenging to maybe not get in there in the winter split, but especially if they've got new people in, they can come together and be a little better, and maybe in the spring split or even potentially over the summer they can start getting into the higher divisions and work their way through there. So that's been really cool for me. Wow, from a production standpoint, how are you feeling about our playoffs and what's next for us?
I am feeling really, really good. I actually don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about because it's like a bit, not finalized just yet. But there are some things that I know I can talk about right now, and that is that for a start, one of our head producers, not me because I'm bad at observing, but it's going to be Friday, um, is going to be doing replays, like learning how to do replays properly, kind of like Westy did in the last grand finals. And
Yeah,
we're planning to have like replays, and also as well on top of that, we're planning on having a desk segment as well before games. And we've discussed the idea because we don't know, like, because there's like delays between games. We've discussed the idea of having like a separate set of casters like come in to do like a replay game from time to time, like during like the long breaks, I mean. But for now, what I'm looking forward to is basically just better graphics, better like production stuff going on, and more content, stuff like production, not production, sorry, stuff like replays, desk segments, that kind of thing. We've got many, many, many casters, and we've got several people that are like extremely talented desk people, including UAvalanche. So yeah, there's like quite a number of people that I would like to get on the desk at some point. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean the death segment over our grand finals was like really fun. Going back and seeing the
Mm.
games and being able to watch it as well. With you guys when we weren't needed, we were just sort of jumping into the green room and having a fun time watching it with everyone else. And then being able to come through and say what we'd been seeing. It slows it down a little bit, and for the casters as well, it's very nice to just have a little bit of a break. Maybe it's not a huge one, but having a break in between games is um, just like a nice little calm down, refresh the system, and then you go again for the next map. But yeah, it's cool to see, and it's really exciting to hear like, oh, we're planning on doing this, we're planning on doing that, instead of it just being, oh, we're keeping things exactly the same. Like we're building up a lot more, which is really cool. Um,
Sure.
is there anything else you guys want to say just for the tournament itself, or do we want to move on to the next topic?
Stay tuned. That's all I've got from me. So I'm excited. Yeah, let's see how the next few weeks go.
Yeah, well, in terms of, I believe it's going to be our final topic. What's next for the organization as a whole? Because we are planning to build up a little bit more, and I'll let you talk again first on this, Reclaimer, as you're the
Yep.
one that's been sort of in the discussions a little bit more for what we're planning to do. But go ahead and take the lead on what's next for USS as a whole.
Yeah. So it's me, Sam, and Nano who mainly have these talks. I mean, sometimes we can get some like third party like opinions and stuff, but pretty much, we're not just an Overwatch tournament. At the minute, we are. We definitely are. This Winter Split. That's where we started from. That's where our foundation is, because we started off with the Summer Splash, but we don't want to just be an Overwatch tournament. We're trying to transition into this big like organization. We're in the Stone Age at the minute. Is kind of kind of what we've been throwing around. Like we're trying to get to the Bronze Age. But yeah, we're very early on, but we're trying to do more than just Overwatch. And in the spring split, the plan is to introduce one more game to USS. As well, that game is as of right now, I'm not too sure. We've thrown a few names around like Rocket League. We've thrown like TFT stuff like that. But as of right now, I don't know. It's something I'm gonna have to speak a little bit more about. I'm personally swinging towards Rocket League, but we have to see how what happens. We're mainly just looking at the games that Newell dropped because they only do two now. They only do well, technically they have a TFT 1 day tournament, but I'm not really gonna count that because that's like it's a 1 day thing.
Yeah.
It's a one off. They do League and Valorant, and there's all these games that are pretty popular in NSC and just the unit esports scene that only have one game day. And I remember, so when I took over, when I started my presidency with esports back in 2024, the thing that upset me was that that was the year that Newell dropped all these like different games. And I know one of our tournament admins, Mal, was the Newell Rocket League admin, and then had to go to Overwatch because obviously Rocket League wasn't running anymore. So yeah, it's games like Rocket League, CS, R6, Apex. We've talked about Dead by Daylight at some point, so maybe that's something we'll see in the future. I know that's a popular game with some people.
Hector's
So
gonna love that.
a big Dead by Daylight player. Yeah, there's a lot of things we want to do, but it's going at the appropriate speed for it as well. We can't do it all at once as much as we want to. Like obviously, it's a dream to do games like League and Valorant because I think Valorant is the biggest in the UK unit esports. I think they have very close to 300 teams in NSE, which is a joke. Like I can't believe they have that many in the first place.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just about going at the appropriate speed. But we do want to add one more game. We are currently trying to get sponsors as well. Like we have all these like very grand big plans. Not sure if Nano's going to go at me for this, but we do have. Oh yeah, good point, Laval. If anyone has any questions, we'll speak about it on the stream. But yeah, not sure if Nano's going to go mad at me for this, but we do have dreams of taking USS to Europe as well, and not just doing the UK. We want to like make it this big, yeah, like I said, this big European thing. But that will come with time. Like that's not going to happen next year, and it's probably not going to happen the year after that. It's like we need to go at a steady pace where we're gradually adding like one game, and then we up the quality of like a few things. We get new teams on. People who've been with us for a while might come up in the org, like they might get more, I don't know, senior positions. But we think this is. We think we've got something special going on, like over here. And I remember when I spoke on a Nullable, it was kind of like the stars were aligning a little bit, because the idea to turn the Summer Splash into a full-time org has been an idea since 2024. It's been since the first USS #1, and the reason that didn't happen is there was a supervillain. I can't say too much more on stream, but there was a supervillain, and yeah, that's why it didn't happen then. And the idea got brought up again at the end of the summer, and we was like, we could, but maybe not right now, because Newell still has Overwatch, so it's like, I don't know, not
We'll be
really see a
fine
point.
against them. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then and then when they dropped it, it was like, oh, and I remember that day I got a lot of DMs. It's like, oh, you're running USS again. I was like, damn, I kind of like put a lot of energy into it this summer. I was a little bit burnt out, but I was like, I don't know, it's too good of an opportunity to like turn down to start something like this. I know we spoke about it before. It's like the stuff we've done with product. You can see the evolution of USS like gradually. Like things are getting better each week, and it'd be good to see some Rocket League streams on USS as well at some point, with different casters, different observers, etc. If we do Rocket League, that is. But we'll see how we get on. I mean, obviously we want to do other games as well. Does Reclaimer have Punch? Ah, okay. Yeah, this was the team that I was scrumming with in September, and I remember I was playing Doomfist and I was saying Reclaimer has Punch when I got Punch. speaking in the third person, it was a great question by LJD. Yeah, I think that's mostly what I've got for like the future of USS. I can't predict the future. I think life's very weird at times with like the way things align. I can also confirm that I'm having some good talks with some like big people. I know it's a little bit ominous, but I can't really say much
You
more
can't
unless
give everything away here.
yeah, I can't give everything
Mm.
away unless something happens. If something happens, then I can speak about it a little bit more. But it's like I said, we're not a community tournament. We're not a we're trying to be serious about what we do, and we think we can transition USS into this very, very successful org. Even if I'm like 30 odd years old by the time that happens, I'll be there for it. I'll be there for it. But yeah, that's I've been yapping for a bit now, but that's all I've really got on what's next.
Yeah, Luau, anything for you to add? Maybe
Yeah,
from the
so
production side of leveling up, especially as one of our head producers.
okay, right. So there's actually a couple of things I want to answer with this. Firstly, I want to give a second answer to LJD just to give you a little bit of more context as well. So whenever I'm doing production, I always get our observers to like go into practice range and like spin the mouse around rapidly, like be hectic to try and like stress the encoder a little bit. And whenever I sight a reclaimer, pick a character like Tracer that can spin around like really, really quickly. Like what I need to like stress the quality of the stream a little bit, right? And Reclaimer always goes Reaper, always without fail, and he just sits there looking at practice range bots, and he's standing still, and he's not moving, and he's like I I just I want him to just go into practice range and go Tracer and just spin around, and he doesn't do it, and it tilted me so much. But regardless, though, moving on from that, um, the thing I wanted to talk about mainly was that one of our tourney admins, specifically Mazzy, she is making a website, I believe. And again, I'm not really allowed to talk about that many details about it, so I'm not going to. But it's something that I'm personally really excited about because I am also a software engineer, and in fact, I've written some code for the stream package that we use for our streams, and yeah, I'm excited to just have to have our own technology that we're maintaining, that kind of thing, and developing, and yeah, looking forward to that. As for production in general, in Rocket League, I also do production for an organization called Quick Esports, which people may or may not be familiar with. They might not be an sorry, I can't speak OWCS anymore, but yeah, there is in Quick Esports. I am the Overwatch production lead for them, and we have a Rocket League production lead as well, and his name is Joe. And I'm thinking that if we go into Rocket League as a tournament, I can contact Joe and see if he can join us as a production lead for Rocket League. That's obviously like, very future stuff. Um, Besides that, I think that there's like a lot of things that we're going to be doing production wise, like leveling up in terms of. We are leveling up on in everything, I think, actually. So yeah, we're going to be doing more observers. We're doing things like replays. We There is a change that the other head producer Friday wants to make, which requires a lot of effort. And I'm not adverse to the idea. I'm happy to put the effort in, but it's very, very difficult to implement. And so I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also stressed about it. But looking forward to it still.
Yeah, well,
Anyways, I know I've been yapping a lot, so yeah. Mm,
it's cool to see the inside workings because
mm,
obviously for me, just as a caster, I don't get all of the knowledge. I talk to you guys, especially before stream start, of like what have you guys been doing and everything like that. But it's really nice to see the tournament sort of willing to enter new ground and willing to level up. And I think for us, it's just very clear to make sure that we're doing it at the right pace, and we're not sort of either burning ourselves out or just going for stuff way too quickly, because that's where this is going to have issues. But just some insights for you guys back home watching. I think there's a lot of stuff that we're going to bring to the table going forward that I think you guys are going to like to see. And if anything, it's just a case of, we can't tell you everything right now, but stay tuned, stay with us, and we'll be bringing us around for the future. Um,
yeah.
we do have a question from Gamago of what's the best
Legend.
Uni
What a
Overwatch
guy.
match you've ever seen slash casted slash produced slash play in.
That's such a good question, by the way. Such a good question.
Yeah, I might need a little bit of time to go on this. So if either of you had something have something already,
Mm.
then feel free to
Yeah,
take it.
I have one. Um, it's actually a pretty obvious answer for me, but it's actually just Oxford versus Warwick of the summer match. Um, yeah, there was some bad news towards the end, which I think Echo did a very professional job of handling. I'm not going to discuss that on this podcast, but that aside, it was a very, very funny game, and something that I particularly like to do on my productions is that I really like to mess with the casters. I like putting up text on screen, and I like trolling them, and I like messing with them, and just making them laugh a little bit, right? And Egdard sent a picture of himself holding a book, a feminist literature book, and I don't know if I'm allowed to be to say
You can
naughty
say it. You
words
can
here on
say it.
stream. Okay,
You
Yeah.
can
right.
say it.
Well, the title of the book is I Love Dick, and Egg sent a picture of him holding that book, and it was funny to put that on stream. And I think Horrocks was also casting that game, and Horrocks' reaction was just it was peak. And so we had like the best teams and like really, really funny casters and the largest audience, and we had like the funniest things going on, and we had the most advanced production stack that we'd worked with. We had replay operators, we had death segments. There was so much going on, and I think it peaked in literally every capacity. So that's for me.
Reclaimer, you got anything?
Yeah, do you know what? I think I can actually answer each of them like slashes because I've done all of them. So best junior or which match I've ever seen. It is probably that Oxford Warwick game, but I think there also needs to be a shout out to the Warwick ICL game from the USS before that, which was also very good. But Oxford Warwick was great. I did get to see Warwick Strathers live. Unfortunately, it was a 4-0, but like that was great. Being like, it's full of all the uni Overwatch people. I think me and Horrocks were just doing football chants the entire time, taking the mic. So that was very fun. I casted. I'm trying to think. It's probably one of the Manchester reverse sweeps. I can't lie. Which isn't, which isn't great, but they were all really good games. I kind of love a reverse sweep, even if it is against the say the team I grew up with, as if it was like 5 years old as a Manchester Ultra. No, like the what do you call it? I remember the Manchester Bristol game this summer was really fun to cast with Gamma Go. Even if it meant Manchester losing, I wasn't bothered. Like I know some of the people from Bristol, so it was all credit to them. And it was really good. It was a really good game. I think that the Sheffield reverse sweep might be a little bit more infamous. That was another one that I casted as well. And that was a little bit funny. I remember Egder was I think Egder had done the All Stars tournament earlier on in the day and hadn't eaten all day, and he was going mad that it wasn't a 3-0 and they got reverse swept, and he
Oh
went to
god,
sleep
yeah.
after that. It was very funny. It was very funny. And I remember, like, I need to stop speaking about this because I remember I was telling a while before the Manchester Bristol final. I was like, I think it's gonna be a 3-0. Like, there should be a break after it. No, it wasn't. It was a 3-2. And I think I said the same to Egder. I said, yeah, I expect this to be a 3-0. No, it's a 3-2. I need to start giving predictions on Manchester games. I also need to stop casting them because I think I curse them. Produce, so I have done the odd bit of production here and there. It's probably some of the in-house games that I've done, and that would probably be the first Manchester Derby final from 2024, which was Team Horrocks versus Team. I can't remember the name of the team. I think it's like Team T or something like that. It's one of the Salford guys. That was really cool because we thought that the Horrocks team would roll, but they lost 3-1, and the last map was like crazy. Like all the casters were going mad, and then there's some like Silver Reaper player who was getting like sick blossoms. So it's gone crazy over that. Played in. That's also a very good question. I think. Oh, I'm trying to think. I remember one game, the very first split that I was playing, where I was a Gold 3 Bastion console player. That's a lot, but yeah, that's what it was. We played against I think it's like Cardiff second team, who were like 60 seeds above us, and we somehow won 2-1. It was like the biggest freak accident ever. I don't know how it happened to this day. Other than that, I played in the second Manchester derby. The final, the LAN final was really good. Although we did have a certain Fin J ringing in on tank because people didn't turn up. They were like too drunk. I don't really know what happened, but yeah, that one was probably the best I played in. And I still got the medal somewhere in my room. So yeah, I can't believe we've been able to actually answer all them questions. But there you go.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give a quick shout out to the Welsh derby that we had as our second division
Yeah, Swansea Cardiff.
finals.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't have higher stakes in that. Definitely am not sat in Swansea right now, so was nice to see them win. It was interesting trying to stay neutral for that. Seeing my team go up against our rivals, but it's quite nice for us especially because even though you'd think there would be a massive rivalry between Swansea and Cardiff, we are quite close. We have varsity every year where we go up against each other, and I think we've had one player come over to Swansea from Cardiff this year. But like it's all jokes at the end of the day. It's not one of those massive rivalries where it's like if you see each other in the street, you're gonna want to punch them in the face. So yeah, shout outs to that initially. Played in. I'm gonna give a deep cut. So when I was in my only year of playing, I was on a team that also for anyone that doesn't know, I'm not good at the game. I know stuff about the game, but mechanics wise, I cannot put it into practice. And I was on, I believe it was like fourth or fifth team for Swansea. Shout outs to the Swansea bus stop. Every single other team on Swansea was named after a type of storm. So we had like Tempest, Storm, Cyclone, stuff like that. And then we just couldn't think of a fifth one, so we had bus stop. But we started off and we hadn't won a game for like the first few weeks, and it was all 5 of us were like support mains, and I was off rolling on DPS. And actually, another player that has worked their way up to the first team now, Cruzzy, was in that as well, and we combined for our first win. Was like a triple kill that I got through Cruzzy's back window with a single Bastion grenade. And I remember how happy our team was after winning that game, sort of how difficult we'd had it as a team that wasn't winning, and going from that to like actually getting our first win was really, really cool. But I'd say the best game out of everything for me was my first grand finals. Reclaimer mentioned it very quickly earlier, but the ICL versus Warwick game, where you had the storyline of ICL coming through the lower bracket as a team that we were sort of like, yeah, they're top 6. They'll maybe make it to top 4 if they do well enough. And we had, I believe it was Portsmouth that year that was the team that was sort of fated for Warwick to go up against in the final. And Portsmouth got knocked into the lower bracket, and I remember the lower finals that we did as well, and seeing Portsmouth get taken down by ICL, who had a little bit of a miracle run going through the lowers and to get to the final, and they were so close to taking down Warwick as well. It was really cool to see, and seeing Warwick come back and win that. It was the game that was really back and forth. And as our first grand finals, as a sort of tournament in general, not even as an org, just as a tournament, I think we couldn't have asked for any more than that. And I'd say as well, just being able to watch the grand finals from this year, and we were having such a great time as a production team. Sort of all the guys that were on the death segment, all the guys that were observing or working on the production team, we were watching it and we were going crazy. Sat in the control room, sat in the green room, just sort of watching everything happen alongside you guys that were watching it at home, and just the atmosphere of that was where I really thought this could be something big. This is something that everyone here is great. We're working really well together. We're having a great time, and if we can continue to do it, and I think that was where we sort of first fielded the, we want to do this full time, but we're not sure yet because Newell still had Overwatch. But from there, I think the 2 grand finals that we've had so far, in our top brackets, sort of more than we could have asked for them. So they were amazing, and then just looking forward now to what we're going to have afterwards. I believe we've got a little bit of a extra segment of pet peeves that Luau has mentioned. So
Yes, I would like to, and I've got a few of them. I've got a few pet peeves I want to bring up.
well, I'll
And
go with you
don't
first then, if you've prepared for
yeah,
this.
and
Oh.
and don't worry, I'm not gonna slime anybody. It's gonna make us unprofessional. I have standards, believe it or not. They are low standards, but they are there, somewhere at least. Anyways, yeah. So the main pet peeves that I have with any tournament, but especially university tournaments, is the delays. And this isn't on the admins, it isn't on on the tournament structure or anything like that. Like it's delay. Wait, huh? Okay, I just saw that. Okay, right. Why is my producer signing me when I literally trained him to use the package? I made this
Promote Zook Fiddle.
package.
Promote Zook Fiddle. He's the new head producer. Joking.
But yeah, no, anyway though, going back to the point though, it's just delaying. I really, really dislike it when people delay, because I mean, especially if we've got like multiple games going on, because sometimes like we're assuming that games will go like 3-0, and we schedule the next game for like an hour afterwards, and it just doesn't happen, and I'm left there in uncertainty, and the casters are as well, because they're waiting for me to tell them when to go in and get ready and stuff like that. They want to know like if they can go eat or go get up, take a small rest, that kind of thing. And yeah, delaying is the main thing for certain. But other than delay, I think the only other like major pet peeve I have is with actually no, that is the main one. That is just the main one. Yeah, it's just delaying. I think pointless delay is like the bane of like any production member's existence. It can be casters, observers, producers, anybody.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing for me. Is like you get so much energy to go into whether it's the next game or you're just sort of hyped up to go into your game that you're coming in for, and it's just like, oh, okay, we don't know
Mm,
when we're going. We
yeah.
could be
Mm,
like, especially where you want to have the sort of higher energy. You don't want to come into a stream and just be like, I don't want to be here, and you don't want that to come across to the audience either. But instead, you've sort of got to keep your levels high, where it could be like, oh, you're going to have a bit of time to know when you're actually going to go in, but it's only going to be like 3-4 minutes. Um, so
yeah.
it's a little bit different, but I didn't mind it too much. I mean, if anything, it just gives a place to chill for a little bit. I know we had a bit of a delay in week one, and it was just me and you, Luau, sat in the live room just chatting along for a while of just
Mm,
like, we don't know what's going on, but you know,
yeah.
it's fine. We'll work with it where we're gonna work with it. So,
Yeah, like when you set a timer for like 15 minutes and you expect it to
and
be
it
done
still
in 2
goes
minutes
past.
and it's
Yeah.
still done. And it's like the time plugin that I use for the packages, I have it set so that it just goes to TBD automatically when it ends. Um, but it's like viewers don't like looking at things that aren't changing. So just having like a blank screen with like a lower third on the screen just saying like, we're waiting on XYZ team to finish. It's the most boring thing. And like it completely goes it messes up viewer engagement and that kind of thing and it's just not very fun. And so like a lot of the time I don't really know whether to just end the stream and start it again when we're actually ready or just keep it on a break for a long time, whatever. But actually reminded me, I do have a second pet peeve, and it's gonna be the last one.
Oh
And
God.
it's gonna be the it's a more specific one as well. It's actually about a particular match that Rakaiman knows what I'm talking about, and also you do as well, Avalanche. And I'm not
Yeah.
going to say who the villains are because
I know
they
what's coming
are yeah,
here.
they let's just say they were prominent figures in the past. But regardless, there was one game, and this was with Rakaimer observing and Avalanche casting, and I think it was Ecto casting as well, and
Yeah.
me producing. And Rakaimer at the time had a very, very, very bad GPU, a GTX 1060, which is like 8 years out of date, something like that. And the issue is that the game was stressing his GPU so much that he couldn't actually stream without like black frames. And so this was back when we didn't have like lobby admins. We had like players host lobbies, and the unfortunate thing was that the teams that were playing each other in that match were also the admins of the tournament, and so they had like lobby admin and they were in charge of the tournament as well. And the casters couldn't see anything. I couldn't see anything. Rakaiman didn't know what was going on because on his side he could see everything perfectly fine, and I wanted to call a production pause and just, figure out what the issue was. Um, but I wasn't allowed to because the players who were also admins in the tournament insisted that we just play it through. And at the end, I was so irritated that I wrote in my package instructions that there is no point streaming if like players are going to hold the lobby hostage or whatever that kind of thing. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's a specific thing.
it was really
Yeah.
weird for me and Egda because we were casting and we didn't know what was going on, and it was like,
Mm,
well, I think they got the kill, and having to go off of your sort of guessing was really strange for that. But I
mm,
think that's
yeah.
something that we've moved on from, and sort of
Yeah.
hopefully isn't going to happen again. Reclaimer, do
Horrible
you have
lobby admin.
anything?
Mm,
Do you have anything else for us, Reclaimer? Pet
Oh,
peeves?
pet peeves. Ooh. Right. I mean, it's not a huge one. It's not a huge pet peeve because I dealt with this a lot during my presidency. But it's people who don't read stuff.
Oh gosh,
um,
yeah.
yeah, it's not right. Like I said, it's not something that I'm like. It doesn't irritate me an awful lot. Um, because again, it's something that I got used to during my presidency. I've done it myself sometimes where I've just not read stuff properly. Like it does happen, but we've had it before where um, there's been like a bit of information that's like either it's clearly visible or whatever, and then the admin team get like blamed for something that we've already like said or something that we've already done. I remember there was a thing not long ago where people thought we turned off aim assist in the code, and we was like, no, we didn't. And then there's another one where people thought we changed the code to a quick play code, and we was like, we didn't do that either. Like, it's like I say, it's not a massive pet peeve because I've done it myself where I've like not read stuff properly. But it's one of them things where it's like, that's why the information's there. Like, it's not, it's been there the entire time. But yeah, it's not super big one. I'm trying to think of like any others to do with like USS. Oh, no, I guess there was a little bit of stuff with the lobby stuff at times. Where it is a lot like it's tense, especially if you're in like a very close final where tense are a bit if then there's something we have to sort out with prod and all the rest of it. Like that can be a little bit annoying. But I think other than that, like there's not really been much that's been like super irritating. It's not like none of that's gotten on my nerves. Like if people don't read stuff, like we just say like here's where you find it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it is. It's like I said, I had like a year to get used to that because I remember during my presidency, it'd be like we still have people, and if Gamgo's selling it in the Twitch, you'll definitely know about this. Where we'd have people who play for the Overwatch teams, and they'd say what time's the games, and it's like you've been playing for like a year.
Yeah,
It's not
you
changed.
should know at this
It is still
point.
7 till 9. It is still on a Thursday. I know the day changed this year to a Sunday, but it's like it's not changed. Like if it changed, we would have told you. Yeah, it's the game at 7 p.m. Yes, it is at 7 p.m. Nothing has
Yes.
changed. Like it's the exact same. But yeah, like you get used to that. A big thing with these ones, you just gotta you got to be resilient in you got to have a good mental. You got to just get through the tough times. You get a lot of it's not I will say as well, and Luau will agree with this. Production and tournament admin stuff is not sunshine and rainbows. It is far from. You have to be resilient to be able to do anything like that. You need to just roll with the punches constantly. Like you get a lot of fire your way. You get a lot of random stuff, and then you just need to get on with it. And it's like when Luau was saying, it's one thing he said is it's very important not to panic, and that is very true. Yeah, just roll with it, But other than that, that's all I really got.
Yeah, like adding on to what Reclaim just said then about panic, because I want to quickly elaborate on that as well. I already mentioned the person's name, but the person that helped me the most with that is a person called Echo. She's a very, very, very good producer of CGL and like other tournaments. I think she does Calling All Heroes Rising as well. Um, she's also an observer too, and I actually asked her tips on how to deal with stress, and she said something along the lines of, like, basically just breathe, and then like realize that panicking doesn't help you find a solution. It makes you look worse at it actually. It's just like, if you calm down and take a minute, you'll be fine. But if you like start stressing over it, then you're gonna make even more mistakes. It's gonna look even worse for the viewers. It's gonna make you feel worse, the casters feel worse. So yeah. I do want to also say though as well that even though production, like any role in it, can be a bit, um, it needs resistance. The other thing to mention as well though is that it's not super difficult, and I think having onboarded people that don't have that much experience, um, yeah, if there's like a time in the future, and there definitely will be, where we're looking for even more staff, I encourage anybody that's interested, even remotely in production, to apply for it. We've got plenty of people here that are more than willing to help in any of the roles. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For me, taking the jump to do the first USS was very big, and the amount of my friends that were just like, "Yeah, go and do it," and I was just like, I'm not sure," but like it's gotten me to here now where I'm sort of a mainstay of a tournament that's been really cool, and
Yeah.
been able
Mm.
to do a couple of others off the back of it as well, which has been really nice, and seeing everything go on along the scenes, and um sort of seeing how we've developed as a team has just been really amazing. So yeah, if anyone does want to get into it, I would highly recommend it. But I think unless you guys have anything else to add, that might be it for today. I'm
I think that is
again.
it for today. Oh, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, just a shout out to all of our guys behind the scenes. You know, you're seeing two of the people that aren't usually on camera today. You've got me, who's, you know, you see my ugly mug on stream every single week, pretty much. But Luau and Reclaimer, sort of the hidden heroes behind the scenes. Maddie is well organized in the team. Bianca, Sam running the
Mal,
tournament.
Xander, yeah, just
Yeah, there's
I
so
could be
many
here all
people
day.
that
Yeah.
there's so many people behind the scenes that you guys don't see, and are just names that are sat in the Discord. But like, it takes a hell of a lot for us to get this sorted, especially going from just a summer tournament to bam, we're in Winter Split now, and we're trying to upgrade ourselves even more. So I think it's really cool. But yeah, thanks for being with us, and let us know if you guys want us to do this again at some point. Maybe it's something that we can bring back, you know, either around playoffs or sort of after split one, and see where we're at, and see if we've got anything more that we can give you in terms of what we're going to be moving forwards, as well as discussing, you know, what's obviously happened during our tournament. But for now, thank you to Zookfoodle, who has been producing this. Thank you to Luau and Reclaimer for joining me. And we will see you all, hopefully, on Sunday for our third week of games.
Yep.
Yeah.
Been a
Peace,
pleasure.
guys. Mm.
Right. And we will see you all soon.